Sure.
Thanks, Matt.
Welcome to an enlightened hour of interactive talk. This is Guided Spirit Conversations with host Marla Goldberg. In this program, we spotlight guests from all over the globe who have helped others change their lives, and will provide you with the tips, tools, and techniques that you need to help make a difference in your own life. Now, here is Marla Goldberg.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? It is Thursday, and that's Guided Spirit Conversations Day. By the way, I hope that you're all taking the time to do what's necessary to stay safe from this virus that's going around. I don't want to put a lot of time into it, but my prayers go out to each and every one of you for healing if you are dealing with it, and protection if you're just, been exposed to it. And so may your health stay absolutely clean and pristine, is what I say. But I want to welcome James Demos. And I am so excited to have him on. He's a nationally known and internationally recognized evidential medium and intuitive. He is also a Reiki master teacher and has had many, many decades of mediumship training. James offers individual, couples, or group readings. Welcome, James.
Well, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
I'm so happy to have you here. And so James and I have been talking a little bit, and to know that he and I have a lot of synchronicity, things, crossing paths. So it's so wonderful to have you on the show.
Thanks.
Okay, let's start at the beginning. When did you have your abilities when you were a child? Did you realize it and squash them? Or is it something, are you more like me, and a late bloomer where you found out you had all this talent later on in life?
Well, I'll say talent kind of threw me there. I don't know if I'm talented, but you have to realize I'm 75 years old. So when I was having intuitive abilities as a youth, they didn't have names for it back then. It was just, they say, well, he's a natural born leader, or he can explain things well, and things like that. So that didn't really get a label until I was in my late 40s. Now you got to realize, as you're growing up, your family, your friends know that you have some kind of psychic ability, but they didn't call it that. Back in those days, a psychic was either a fortune teller, or was the lady in the first of the year would give all these crazy predictions. So it didn't really take hold until I was in my 40s, and my kids were older by then. I wasn't doing the family thing, and as luck would have it, I ran into a psychic who kind of outed me and said, look, you can't continue to not do this for other people. So she was my original mentor for several years, showing me readings, and formal readings, rather than just taking somebody aside and saying, look, I need to talk to you about something. So then I got the formal training in mediumship at a spiritualist church here in Chicago. And that came later because an event happened. I was doing intuitive readings, and someone I knew had an infant child die tragically with a babysitter. I don't want to tell you the whole story. And it just absolutely devastated her, and blamed herself. Of course, she shouldn't have, but she did. So she went to see George Anderson, a famous medium in New York, and he gave her a reading, and the baby came forward with her mother who had passed, and it changed their life. And I said, wow, would I like to be able to do that? But I had no idea how you do it. So, as fate would have it, it was an Easter morning, and I was living downtown with the lady I was married to at the time, and a friend came over and said, let's go to church. Hey, Easter, good idea. I was raised a Presbyterian, by the way, so you go to church on Easter. And I'm not a religious guy, and I wasn't at the time. So we went to this funny little church you knew about, and of course it was Church of the Spirit in Chicago, and a bunch of mediums there. And I got a reading where on a day like that, everybody gets like what they call a quick hit, or a psychic pop reading, 20 seconds, 30 seconds at the most. And I didn't get a 30-second reading. I got a 2-minute reading. And I was told stuff that absolutely surprised me. The lovely lady that was the Reverend Maurice Coverson told me that I had ascended masters around me and that I was given the gift of prophecy. And now, right about then, I stopped and went, whoa, I'm no prophet, because all I knew about prophets was in the Bible. Well, I went home and looked it up, and that's not what it means. The gift of prophecy just means you understand things and are very good at explaining them to others. And I agreed with her. I said, okay. So after the church service, like a lot of churches, you go downstairs in the basement and they have coffee and donuts and all that. So the friend that we went with went over to the reverend and said, see that guy over there? He's like a psychic guy, you know? So she came over to me and said, I hear you have some abilities, you know, you're psychic. And I said, well, yeah, I am. And she said, okay, I want to read it. So being the businessman that I was at the time, I pulled out my day timer and said, well, how's Tuesday? She said, no, right now. So we went over in the corner, and like all churches, they had a lot of folding tables set up, you know, and sat down and gave her a reading. And she said, I would like you to come to our classes. So that's what started my mediumship training at the church with some really spectacular mediums. So, and I did that for years. So that's kind of my path.
That is a great story. And so, that's how you started developing. When did you start actually working with people, and how did you start doing it? How did you get out there?
Well, that was I always did I guess it would be just called advice kind of readings. And I went to a Mediterranean restaurant with the lady that was my girlfriend at the time. I did marry her later, and sat down. And no offense, I've always had kind of an attraction to redheaded women. It's some kind of a curse, I guess. And just kidding. And
why would I be offended?
And so a lady walked in with her, whoever her date was or whatever, and she just walked right over our table and sat down next to me and said, hi, I know what you are. I want to talk to you about that. I was astonished. Well, she and I talked for about an hour and a half. We never even ordered food. Her date and my date ate, you know, just listened. And she outed me, you know, and I always tell people I was outed. And of course they think that means something else. But then she became my mentor. She said, I want to teach you how to do formal readings and all that. And that's how I started doing it formally. And then there's the whole thing. Should you charge? Should you not charge? You know, I was telling myself, well, Jesus didn't charge, you know, that kind of stuff. So then you charge a little bit. And then finally, after a while, you get some help with that. And you end up charging when you think it's fair. So I do charge for readings.
You know, it's funny, when I was in school, I was taught you show spirit your worth by what you charge, you know, that you're the value of what you do.
Yeah, I heard that a lot. And when I was doing it kind of cheap, the other psychics around were saying, what are you doing? You know, and then as time, you know, it took probably 5 years to go through it to the point where I felt comfortable that anybody could afford it. And I was doing what I was worth, you know. So yeah, you should charge.
I agree. You know, it's not that you want to take advantage of anybody, but, you know, as a friend says, you know, time is free, information isn't.
Yeah.
So
well, also just the study time, you can't see it behind me. There's a bookcase with 150 books on it on intuition and psychic abilities and all that. I get all of them. A lot of them are the same thing, but I pick up something everywhere. And so there's all that time that you're studying, you're finding out more. You can't, something like this, I'm sure I'll learn something from you.
well, everything is a growth. Everything is an education.
Right.
Whether it's positive or negative, you learn something from every experience.
Yes. And everybody you meet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No coincidences.
Everything's synchronistic. Oh, you and I are so on the same page. So let's talk about the difference between being a psychic and an intuitive. That's
a great question. So a lot of times they are synonymous. And psychic is a term that's kind of a generic it's like being an athlete or an artist. You have to break it down into what do you really do. And so an intuitive tells you what's happening now and why. A psychic's going to tell you what's going to happen. So they're very different.
See, I'm an intuitive, and that's what I call myself, an intuitive. I don't do future casts, but I get lots of information like right in the moment.
Yeah, I call it future telling.
Me
And I
too.
can do it, but I don't like to do it because not always, but sometimes one thing can happen tomorrow to change everything I told you that was going to happen.
And
So then they think, oh, he was all wrong. Now the ones where everything goes all according to plan, then they think, oh wow, that was a great psychic. So I don't want to get caught up in that. I tell them I don't do psychics work.
somebody told me years and years ago that, I was getting a reading from someone and they said, now I'm going to tell you, take this information. It's okay to pay attention to what I'm saying now. Take notes, put it in a file drawer. Don't think about it. Don't focus
Uh,
on it. And then, 3, 6 months, whenever
yeah,
you feel, pull it out and then read it and say, yes, no, this worked in,
yeah.
because she said, otherwise, if you're going to meet somebody, right?
Uh-huh.
It's like, oh, and then every male or female, whichever sex you are, or whatever
Somebody.
preference you have, you're like, is this the one? Is this the one? Is this the one? And to me, like my metaphor is it's like trying to take running water and grab it
Yeah.
and take some away.
Good.
But all you do is get a wet hand and you
That's
don't
a
get
good
any of the
analogy.
bulk.
Yeah. That's good. I like that. Yeah.
Thank you. You can use it.
Okay. Thanks.
But that's the way I look at it. And that's how it's like, okay, so now, future forward, before I realized my
Yeah.
abilities, that's what I
Yeah.
would do is I'd listen, I'd put it away, and then I'd come back and go, check, check, nope, check, check.
I like it that you call it abilities rather than a gift. Sometimes I tell people everybody has really good intuition. You just have to pay attention. So that's part of the teaching there, that people have those moments where there's something's up or something's great and they don't pay any attention. And I tell them you have to pay attention to that. Listen to that second voice in your head that says, be careful, or wow, this is great, or go ahead. And so that's part of being intuitive, is telling people that it's there for everybody. Now, just like a lot of things in life, some of us are really good at it. Everybody can play the piano, but some people can play it really good. And some people go to Carnegie Hall. So it's
Right.
just like in athletes, everybody can run. Some people can run fast, and some people can run really fast, and they go to the Olympics. So it's just levels, and us that have fine-tuned our intuition just took the time to practice and all that to get it where it is.
And do you feel that, I mean, this is what I've learned, again, from my experience, but you have to stop being in your head. You have
Oh,
to,
yeah.
that's where meditation comes in,
Yes.
because you have to allow your mind to be quiet enough so you could hear someone. I mean, if
Yeah.
I kept talking and talking, talking, I'd never hear a word you said.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of the things that makes people confused, is that, am I thinking this? Or is this me? Or is it my intuition that's telling me, or my spirit telling me, or my guides telling me, pay attention here, or we'll help you here, or what's coming up. And for me anyway, it's another voice in my head. It's another softer, quiet voice. And like the old saying is, if you listen to the whispers, you won't need to hear the screams. And that's why you tune into that. I think it's kind of like a parent when you have little kids, and all of a sudden it's really too quiet. What are those kids doing, or what's that child doing? It's that little feeling, and it's something's going on in your head that's not there. And it's that little difference, and you pick up on that. And I mean, you can have a lot of fun. Some people think like a person that's an empath, which I am, where I feel energy,
Yes.
and they think it's some kind of curse. I think it's absolutely a wonderful thing to tap into. I don't like crowds, and I can tell when people are lying, and I don't say anything. But I've used it as a plus, not as some kind of oh gee, I have to be a hermit now because I'm an empath. Well, no, that's why I call myself an empathic intuitive. Not only do I get messages from you or from spirit or your guides, I feel how you're feeling. And so,
Okay.
yeah, it really tells me what's going on.
So, and this is what I tell my clients, because what I say is it's almost like you have net coming out of all your areas. And when you're walking with your net, you pick up everybody's
Uh,
stuff who's
yeah,
in your path. And so then you bring it home with you.
yeah,
But if before you go out of the house, you just like intend that your field is just really small,
yeah.
like an inch or two from your body, you can't pick up that much and it can't affect you. Because there are people that really get slammed by the energy they get
I
picked
have
up
an
on.
example of that. This is back in first training when I was just doing intuitive work. And I live in Chicago. It's a busy place, not now, but normally. And I was walking down Michigan Avenue, which is the big Magic Mile and all that. And a man was walking towards me, and he was one of those guys that had something wrong with his arm. So he had a brace, but it was held up by a bar, one of those things.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
And I felt that he'd been burned. Marla, I went down on my knees. It hurt. So I just was like, oh God. And of course, people around think I'm having a heart attack or something. I'm like, no, I'm okay. Leave me alone. So I went to this lady that was helping me, a psychic, and she said, no, you just have to learn to build blocks when those really strong ones come in. Like if I walk in a hospital or I walk in a wake, oh my God, that's why I avoid them. And so we did several ways, but what I do is in my mind, build a brick wall, just bring wall. There's other people that do it all different ways.
Right.
Just block that energy from coming in and overwhelming me because it can be. So now I'm really good at that.
Which is amazing. I use 3 nesting dolls. It's like 3 energy fields, like a nesting doll around me.
Cool. That's cool. Like Russian dolls. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm part Russian, so why not? I've got Russian blood in me.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I like vodka. I don't know.
Oh, I do too. There's another synchronicity. Tito's.
Yeah. I just found this new, and it's Lusawaka, and it is so good.
It's easy for you to say.
I know. I'll email you. I'll text it to you. But it's I don't get a headache with it. It's wonderful, and it's not expensive.
Okay. Well, I get Tito's. It's the one from Austin, Texas.
Yeah, it's an organic one, which is good. It's organic.
Yeah, I know. It's just somebody turned me onto it, and I liked it. It tastes good, and I don't drink much, so when I do Tito's.
So that begs to answer. So there's different philosophies about people with abilities. Drinking, no drinking. Do you think that it, affects your communication stream if you
I
drink?
don't think I've ever done a reading when I've been drinking, and I don't drink that much anyway. It's strictly social. I think it would slow you down if nothing else. And it's getting legal in America, so there's that other mind altering thing too. And I would never do a reading high. I mean, I wouldn't even think about it. I mean, it would be crazy.
No, I'm not talking about doing a professional reading, but I go to restaurants, and if I'm with my husband, and every once in a while something kicks in, and I just can't stop giving information.
Oh, I've never been there yet. I just shut up.
Oh, it's so funny. So, have you been made fun of or ridiculed because of your abilities?
Often.
As an adult or more as a child?
Well, as a child, there wasn't a label to it, so they just thought I was different. And I thought I was different. If you want to hear a story about that. But yeah, I've been ridiculed, but I've gotten to the point now where it's almost entertaining. I love a skeptic because I got you. So when somebody comes for a reading with what I call the bodyguard, so that's the girlfriend, the boyfriend, the mom, the dad, whatever, because they think I'm a serial killer and I'm going to do some awful. So they come. So what I do is I give the bodyguard a quick reading, and they just shut up because they came there to make me a fool, okay, or prove that I'm not worth it, or whatever they came there for. And so normally you get to sit back like, okay, and then I just give the reading to the person that's paying for it. So yeah, that ridicule, and it's the same old jokes, why aren't you rich, and all that. So you just get used to it. I think it's like almost like being therapist or some kind of celebrity or somewhere people just think you're reading their mind or something, and so to overcome that discomfort, they start hitting you up trying to be funny, and they're not. So you just go, oh, I've never heard that before.
That's so funny. James, hang on. We're going to come back and talk some more. We're going to go on a short break. I hope you all stick around out there, and we'll be right back.
All right. Great job. Good segment. Back in a couple minutes.
Matt. It's so funny. I would say if someone says, why aren't you rich? I'd say, how would you know if I am or not?
Yeah.
Why do you think I'm not?
I am rich. It's just not money.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so much more with it. And I have to tell you, I think you've got little energies around you. I keep seeing like spots, like clusters of spots.
Oh, good. Are they orbs or are they just sparkles?
They look like little sparkles,
Okay.
almost like confetti. Like,
Ah,
does that
party
make
time.
sense?
So this is like a party. That's party energy coming off of me then, maybe a celebration or something. I don't know.
There you go. We're at a party.
Yeah. This is fun for me. I just hope, like I say, if I start to babble, just ask me something.
You're fun and you're fine and you're fun. And I'm loving the direction of our conversation because it's organic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's, yes,
Well,
I'll
so
ask
many people
questions.
wonder about, do I have psychic ability? They have a psychic experience or two, and they go, wait a minute, maybe I'm one of those. So I get emails and all kinds of stuff about what do I do, and I'll mentor them for free for a little while. Give them a couple books or something to start out, and then I tell them, if you want to really do it, let's sign you up, and I'll be your mentor, and I'm going to charge you something for it. It took me decades to learn what I learned.
Right.
So.
And it was really, it's like decades to figure out how to formulate and protect and share. It's like I said, I was a late bloomer. I won't tell you how late, but I was a late bloomer.
Well, you're just a kid to me, so.
Well, you're very kind, but you don't know the truth.
Okay.
I don't share that. But
Okay, so you're 40. We'll let it out.
okay, I will. That's so funny. So when you do mediumship, and I guess this should be on the thing, but do you see spirit? Do you hear, or is it clear knowing?
It's clear ascension, and I see a form sometimes because they show ladies to the left, men to the right. Down below it's kids, up even it's their same age. Then there's mom and dad, and then way behind them it might be grandma and grandpa, or even another couple of generations back. So it's where the location of the energy I feel. And then if I do the evidential stuff, I've gotten some information about who they are before they even show up.
All right, sorry to interrupt you, but we're coming back in just about 10 seconds.
Perfect. Thank you.
VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Guided Spirit Conversations. To reach Marla Goldberg or her guest today, you're invited to call in to the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. If you'd rather send an email, the address is guidedspiritconversations@gmail.com. Now, back to this week's program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking around. And for those who are just tuning in, I am so excited. We were just having such a great spirited, no pun intended, or maybe did I intend it? I did. Conversation, pardon me?
With a capital S.
With a capital S, with James Demos. And James is an evidential and medium. Oh God, I'm stepping all over myself. Evidential, medium, and intuitive. He's known nationally and internationally. And he's also got a moniker called the Northwoods Psychic. And I'm sorry?
Northwoods Mystic.
Oh, sorry, Northwoods Mystic.
That's what they call me. I didn't make that up. Somebody else made that up.
That's okay. It's still a moniker.
Well, let me tell you real quickly, a mystic is just someone that gets information other than through scientific means. That's all it means.
So we are both mystics. I like that.
Yeah.
There's something just mysterious about it.
Yeah, exactly.
But the reality of it is, for everybody out there, there's nothing really mysterious if you delve in. But what I was going to share with you when you were talking about, so before the break, everyone, we were talking about when people come in and they're skeptical or they're not open to what's going on. And James was sharing how he sort of takes the wind out of their sail, so to speak. Is it okay to say it that way?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Just nail them, just okay. If you want to be, no, that wouldn't be somebody that's just being, joking. But if somebody's being kind of nasty, I'll put them in their place. It's easy to do.
Well, yeah, you've got information.
Yeah.
That they don't think you have.
And sometimes they're coming from a place of fear. They're afraid of what they might find out. So you got to be nice. Don't nail them.
So you shared that you were brought up Presbyterian, but many people who are brought up from other faiths are taught that this coming to a psychic, a medium, an intuitive, whatever you want it to,
Mhm.
label, that it's like the devil's work and it's all negative.
Yeah.
And how do you deal with that?
Well, the only time I really had that is from fundamentalists, and mostly Christian fundamentalists, and they'll start doing the "you need to be saved" thing, and I'll say, look, I believe in the teachings of Christ. That's it.
Okay. Well, that's a way of shutting it
That
down.
doesn't. I'm not gonna argue with them about salvation and rules, dogma. Dogma drives me crazy. All religions have some kind of crazy dogma about what they can do and not do, and I'm like, see, I'm a grown-up hippie. And back in the day, it was if it feels good, do it. And you think, oh, don't say that. Well, okay then. Just I'm pretty uninhibited and liberal in my thinking, so I understand some people have to be conservative to fit in where they are. Yeah.
And, well, exactly. And I think we were talking about religion, where it's organized, and how maybe it wasn't a conversation with you, but I was having a conversation about organized religion and how they put these stigmas
Hmm.
about, controlling people through fear and judgment. And they tell you, oh, if you do this, that,
Oh
and
yeah, dogma.
yeah, absolute. Thank you. Dogma. And, my feeling is when I became bat mitzvahed at 40 something years old,
Uh-huh.
and I had to learn the Torah, and I realized
Uh-huh.
that, in Genesis, God, we're made in the likeness of God, every one of us. So
Hmm.
it just sort of, the bell went on that if God, we're made in the likeness of God, then isn't it suffice to say that God is in each and every one of us? And if God's
Yeah.
in each and every one of us, why do we need to go outside ourselves to go to another human being to ask for forgiveness or redemption or anything like that? I can understand the social community aspect of organized religion, but now I realize that if I mess up, and I'm human and I screw
Yeah.
up, I will apologize to through myself, to
Yeah.
God, and to the person that it
Wow.
happened with.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
And
Yeah.
it's another way of doing it.
Yeah, and it just this whole judgment thing. It's always bothered me that there would be a loving, compassionate God, and if you screw up, you're going to hell. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Where does that not fit together? You know. So, and I checked, by the way, there is no hell.
I don't believe in hell. I believe that there might be bardo or where you sort of like,
Well, you
I don't
gotta
know.
cross over. You gotta wait a little while before you get to the party. But yeah, there's.
Yeah, but there's no hail and brimstone. So here's the question: Satan, yes or no? Believe or not believe?
Well, Satan is a term that can be used for whatever evil you might believe in your life is around. So you can call it, Satan if you want, or you can just call it the dark side, or whatever. It's there, but that's the balance of why we're here for lessons. If everything went well all the time, we wouldn't learn anything, and that's why many of us believe that we're a body here on earth, a soul in a body here on earth, to learn, to get lessons. And so that's why upsets have to happen, so we can go through them and say, oh, I made that, or I fixed that, or I got it, now I get it. So that's why lots of things happen in our life that we don't understand why. And it's like Carolyn May says, she prays like this. She goes, why? It starts up on the head, and, what? That's what she says. So yeah, you do that. And, but then after a while, as most of us that are kind of old realize, you get through it. No, it's going to be okay. It's awful at the time. And I've had plenty of upsets in my life that broke my heart and all that. And, but here I am. I relish every day, and I'm thankful for every day. It's just nice.
Gratitude is so important.
Yeah.
So do you have a practice of gratitude that you use on a regular basis, like a daily
Yeah.
basis?
I have a morning prayer. I say it every morning. So now I'm not going to say it right. What? Good morning, Spirit. And I call it my team, really. So that's spirit guides, ancestors,
Guardians.
anybody that's around. Thank you for another glorious day. I just ask that you please care for me and use me to the fullest, so that I may fulfill my contract for the benefit of myself, mankind, earth, and all her inhabitants. and so it is. So that's my morning prayer.
That is beautiful.
And that was written by Kathleen Peterson, a friend of mine, and I stole it. And also at night, I have a kind of a longer one where I will reiterate all the people on Facebook that asked for healing and prayers and all that. And so I hit them. And then I have a list of probably 10 or 12 people I know that are around, and just send them love and healing energy. And that's it. I said, let's do this again tomorrow, team. And good night. Thank you for today. I thank them for everything that happened that day. And then I go to sleep. So the prayer is all gratitude, period. I don't ask for anything.
That's lovely. I think gratitude is so important. I mean, I have a gratitude practice both morning and evening also. My prayers are much longer than yours. Sort of like,
well, I'm a guy,
That's true. That's a good point. That is so funny. So, okay, see, I know you have some children. One daughter and two sons.
Yes.
Has anybody been able to develop their abilities as you have?
Yes. The oldest is my daughter. She's a great tarot reader. And she picked that up decades ago. These are not kids anymore. These are in their 40s. And then my son, older son of two, is busy with raising a bunch of kids and stuff still. So he's not that curious. But my younger son, who was, I'm trying to make this not too complicated, a different mother, is now coming out and looking at my bookcase and saying, what's this about? And he's borrowing books. And he realizes he has some ability. I have a brother who has incredibly accurate premonitions, which aren't that big a deal, except he was a firefighter and a paramedic for 35 years.
Wow.
And he tells stories where he would go in to the firehouse and say, okay, everybody, this is going to be a busy day. And the guys that have been around snap to, and a couple of new guys would say, what's that? And they'd say, shut up. He does this all the time. So he has that ability and he was a paramedic, one of those guys that was just calm and collected whenever there was a crisis. He always knew what to do. Athlete, and just one of those guys that we used to kid, we'd say, if there was ever a mushroom cloud on the horizon, what would happen? And they'd say, everybody would look to Paul and say, what do we do? Because he would know what to do. So yeah, it's in the family. Yeah.
And yes, it's an ability, but it's also a gift. I'm going to bring this in because we were talking about the difference between gift and ability, but it's a gift because he's able to help his team, his fire team, and prepare them, get them ready. And because he did know what he did, I'm sure he saved many people who both from the fire, but from his team as well, because he knew how to handle, he was being guided as to how to handle the situation.
And he honored it. He didn't keep it to himself. A lot of people have premonitions, never tell anybody. I've had a few that I thought somebody was going to get hurt. So I tell them or the people around them, be careful. Something's going to happen, and it always did. So those are the only times I ever share a premonition, is if it's really important.
See, for me, it's like if I'm thinking if somebody's name, especially somebody who I haven't talked to in forever, comes into my head and it's over and over and over again, well, they get a phone call.
Yeah, I got a 3. If it happens 3 times, handle it. Get a hold of them. Yeah.
And you just don't know why, but
I've had a couple of times when I didn't, and I was really sad because I didn't.
I'm with you. I have the same reasons.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's talk about, I mean, I promised not to go into long detail about this, but let's talk about what's going on right now with the virus. And have you gotten any intuition? Did you have any guidance about it?
Well, let's take this as just a big upset on Earth. So let's back up a couple of decades. It started when Great Britain and Irish were killing each other and blowing each other up and all that. And people would come to me and say, hey, Jim, you're the spiritual guy. Why are these guys just killing each other? They don't even know each other. Then it moved down to Bosnia and Serbia, where they were killing each other all over the place, one generation kill one, and the next generation kill them, and back and forth. Then I moved down to Africa, where that guy was going around chopping people's limbs off and god awful stuff. And fast forward to the Middle East now, where there's just awful stuff going on. And people always ask me, I don't get it. Why would this have to happen? And so as I looked at it from the universe, I pictured the Earth, and it has sores on it, geographical sores things are going bad. And so everybody looks at that's not in that sore area and says, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to war. I don't want to have genocide. I don't want to do all that awful stuff. And so it sinks in. Well, now, setting aside collective consciousness and the shift and all that, the dread shift and all that, I think this is an awakening. It's awful. I get it that it's awful and people are dying. But boy, is the world waking up to what could be. And it's not just disease, it's attitude. It's ruining the world. It's ruining our whole planet. So I think this is a wake-up call. And I know that's a tough sell. And a lot of people are saying, oh, that's crazy. Well, maybe it is, but something good in the long, long run will come out of this, where people are going to reassess who they are, what they're doing, and what's important.
I really agree with you on that. And I also think and feel both from heart and head that this break that we're all have to take, we're being forced to take, is allowing the earth to heal. The pollution, the forestry, the animals are able to oh my God, I can't
Generate.
Thank you, regenerate. And that the waterways are getting cleaner because things, there's less of this, that, or the other thing going on. And I really feel that we're going to come out, but we're going to have a very new normal.
And people will take it seriously. Here in the city I live in, some people are just not doing this. We have a stay-home order statewide, right. And some people are just ignoring it. But the mayor said, okay, guys, you want to go down to the beach? You want to play basketball in the park? I'm going to arrest you, and it's going to be $500. Go home. And it was like, wow, we're getting serious now, aren't we? And so those people that are just saying it's not going to happen to me, and of course it does. And, they go to a party and 20 people get sick at the party. And, they're young and healthy, so it probably won't be terrible for them, but they'll just have the flu. But you got to start paying attention, folks. This is not just for anybody, it's for everybody.
Right.
So hopefully that'll get to your point. People are going to reassess like what's important here.
Right. Like those kids in Florida. Now they're coming out with a thing today saying that they're regretted their partying in Florida. Why? Probably because a lot of them got very sick.
And then they went home and got everybody sick at home.
Hello. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks.
It's a very, excuse the expression, but in my opinion, if you're just out because you're ignoring it and you just, putting whatever to the wind, it's a very selfish act because of the people, no consideration about the other
selfish.
people.
It really is. It's irresponsible and selfish, but young people, that's not new.
No.
I did some really stupid stuff. I didn't get arrested, but I did some pretty stupid stuff with cars and stuff. So I get it, and I understand why they're like that and why they think, it's not me. But I don't think at that age I would have been open to getting sick. That was always something I wasn't looking forward to. And I grew up with polio around me and stuff. So, chickenpox, measles, mumps, all that. We were aware of that when I was young. So it was serious.
Exactly.
Today, the kids don't get sick like that. So they don't know.
No, it's true. And so we need to go on a break. Let's come back. We'll do our charity shout out and some more scintillating conversation. We'll be right back.
Okay.
All right, nicely done. All clear. Back in a couple minutes.
Thanks.
Yeah, this is she's I have to tell you, I really like her. I can't remember her name, but I like her, your mayor. And if I lived in Chicago, that's it, Lori Lightfoot. If I was a city dweller, I would have voted for her.
Well, lots of people did because everybody else running was the old school, and she was not a politician. So no experience, but so far she's kicking fine.
She's tough. I mean,
Yeah.
but tough in a positive way. I'm not
All
saying,
her life.
you know,
She's
like
5 foot tall. She's got a lesbian wife, and she's a lawyer. So you talk about strike, and she's just standing there like she's 6'5", and oh wow, she's
she
fun to
is
watch.
so in her power, so in
Yeah.
her power.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I saw her standing next to
Oh, and she's a
Pritzker.
woman, by the way.
Really?
That's enough. Well, I'm
It's hard
trying
to
to
be a
all the
lesbian
things
if you're not a woman.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I grew up with a very strong woman. My dad died when we were little kids. I have 2 brothers, and the she started out as a school teacher and then went and worked for the union and got to be a representative and a vice president and a trustee. And by the time I was a grown up, she was the chairman of the trustees of the Chicago Teachers Union.
Wow,
And
good
she was
for
5
her.
foot tall too. So I had a good thinking about how that can work. She was powerful, little, but everybody respected her. So
It's amazing, right?
yep,
It's
yep.
so. But I want to let people out there know if you're watching and you want to talk to James, call the number 888-346-9141. So you'll have an opportunity to ask him questions. He'll be more than happy to answer them.
Yes.
I just spoke for you, James.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, it is a call-in show, so if people are around,
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, I'd love for them to be able to experience you.
Thanks.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you'd like to talk about that I haven't touched on?
I don't think so. I mean, yeah, but it'd take a couple hours, No, I think we'll get the questions that are on people's minds when they do the call-in, rather than just me, because I know me, so I would babble on about mediumship or something, And, my tagline on my website, jamesdemos.com, DEMOS, jamesdemos.com, is validating the continuity of life. Lots of people think when you die, or when you die, something happens. And the soul moves on and on and on. We're just here. This is one chapter. This isn't our whole being.
Right. This is just one part of the journey, one leg.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
the whole journey.
All right. Sorry to interrupt here, but we are just about to come back.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, I will bring that up.
Okay.
You're listening to Guided Spirit Conversations. To reach Marla Goldberg or her guest today, you're invited to call in to the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. If you'd rather send an email, the address is guidedspiritconversations@gmail.com. Now, back to this week's program.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to thank you again for those who stuck around, but those who have just tuned in, my guest today is James Demos. James is an evidential medium and intuitive. He is a Reiki master, and he also mentors the development of psychic abilities. And so before we start getting back into our conversation, it's charity shout out time. And James, Chicago man, his charity is clclaw.org, which is Chicago Legal Clinic. So let's talk about the clinic, James, and why you're so passionate about it.
Well, it was one of those situations that just came into being. I was at a barbecue where I lived in an apartment, and they were having a big barbecue, and I met a man there. And he said, what do you do? And I said, I was a salesman for a long time, and sales manager. And he said, well, we need some help. I manage a plan of the Chicago Legal Clinic called the Legal Advocates for Seniors and People with Disabilities, LASPD. And we have lawyers talking to people, and it's just not working. I need somebody with sales ability. So I volunteered. That was almost 15 years ago. So I volunteer to counsel seniors and people with disabilities, basically anyone on a fixed income that have debt problems, by getting their unsecured debts charged off, not paid off. There are federal laws called judgment-proof laws that protect them, but people don't know about it. And it's a lot of legal work. So regular lawyers don't do it. They charge more than the people owe. So that's what I do. I'm the counselor. I explain it to them, set them up, and then the office does all the legal work to get them charged off. And it's very, very hardening because some of these people are so broke and I'm getting so little money. Social Security people are getting $700, $600 a month, and their public housing is $700 a month. So they have no money and they have to move and they can't get another place. And the stories go on and on and on. So that's what I do is I help them out. And it's one plan of the Chicago Legal Clinic called LASPD. You can go to mylegaladvocates.org and see what it is if you want to do that.
That's amazing that for these, my heart's breaking for these people because you can't live on $600 or $700 a month. You
Right.
just can't do it.
You can't live
And-
on $1,000 a month if your rent's 600.
Right. It's still, it doesn't give you, because by the time
Yeah.
utilities and and
Food,
we're here to
medicine.
live a divine life,
Medicine.
right?
Yeah, that's just, I spend a couple, 3 hours a day during the week just talking to these people and getting them signed up.
Well, it's great that they have people like you volunteering in an organization like that who can help people so that they're not thrown into the street.
Oh yeah, I mean, I get all this, Jesus sent you, you're an angel and bless you and all that. And so that's my warm fuzzy is that I can, and to be honest with you, as a senior, if you keep busy, you stay young. I'm 75 years young. I know I have some stuff to do yet, so I try to take care of myself the best I can, medically and all that. So just, if I give anybody its advice, is don't sit around and feel sorry for yourself. Get going, do something.
Well, and even if you have all the money in the world, don't sit around, do something, be productive, find a hobby, find a craft, volunteer. It keeps your mind sharp and it
Yeah.
keeps you having a better quality of life.
And another thing that you can do, you can read a book.
What is
get a Kindle,
that?
Go to the library.
You can read a book. Well, I say all the time about what's going on. Everybody's at home and people are so frustrated and bored. It's like, this is a great time to learn something new. YouTube has all these classes that you can tune into for free.
Yeah.
You could, like you said, read a book or start a project in your home that you've been meaning to do and keep putting off.
Yeah.
It's spring cleaning. You can do those things. Just because you're stuck in the house doesn't mean you're stuck in front of the television
Yeah,
or
I
the
don't feel
computer.
sorry for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So when we were on break, we were talking about when one passes, what happens? What happens to when the body and the soul separate?
Well, one thing that I want to make a real strong point about, it's not the same for everybody. So that white tunnel thing and all that, actually, that's a small percentage of people that see the light at the end of the tunnel. It depends on what you signed up before you came here and what you did while you were here. So yes, there is crossing the other side of the veil, they call it, or crossing over or whatever. And so different things happen. You have a team that's been with you here on earth that signed up to be part of your life here, to get done whatever you wanted to do, because you sign up for what you get here, what you're going to do here. You have free will and you can change it. But don't be too upset on the other side when you find out that the person that was mean to you was your loving mother in your last life. And she signed up to be mean to you so you could learn what it's like to have somebody mean to you. Things like that. And so then there's a review. And that explained different ways by different people that have gone over and come back to explain it. And, the near-death experience people. And so the review is going to be all the lives you ever had. That could be from 6 to 1,000 or 5,000.
I didn't realize that
And
you were
review
reviewing
it.
a lot
It's
of
like a
lives.
library, and all those books there, all your lives. You review them, and then the team, and there's like a master guide there. And you say, well, do you want to go back to Earth? Yes or no? Yes is the brave people, because this is a tough place. Or no, I want to go to the Pleiades and sit around and have some fun. I don't want to go here. So you get to decide. And then you come up with a plan and you show up here again. If you're going to be reincarnated on Earth, you might be, go somewhere else. There's the whole universe you can pick. That's the way I've seen it.
Well, I've read. Did you hear of Michael Newton's book?
Yes.
Have you read it?
Spirit something.
It's Journey of the Soul or the Soul.
Oh, Journey of the Soul, yeah.
Journey of the Soul.
Yeah, those are great books. If you really want to find out, and just to explain it really quickly for people, he's a hypnotherapist, and he had people come to him and say, I got past lives, but I want to know what happens between the past lives and the one in between. What happens there? So he actually got them, and not just a couple people, like 10,000 people he did for these 2 books. And it's fascinating. If you really want to know what happens, that is a good place to start.
It's interesting how people don't realize we have chosen our parents, we have chosen our life as it is, and we knew what it was going to be like before we came and agreed to it, but we agreed to it anyway.
Native Americans have thought that along. I read about, they think that when you're conceived, it's like you're an eagle flying above it, and you go and you look down, oh, I like those 2 people. I want them to be my parents, and you pick them. You know,
Yeah.
so I think it's a great analogy of how you would pick your parents. You just see them making love and say, yeah, that's a good couple. Or it's a bad couple. I want to try that. Yeah.
Because we have lessons, we have things to learn, we have karma to clean up,
Uh-huh.
and we have things to teach because we're also teachers.
Yes.
We're not just brought on this planet to learn, I believe. I believe that we're also here to teach
Oh, yeah.
and to guide.
And also, a long time ago, I figured out that some of us, maybe foolishly, decide to live like 4 lives in this life. If I tell you the story of my life, people always tell me you got to write a book, and I say nobody would believe it. So when it's compacted into lots of things in one life, you've chosen to really hit the accelerator, and what I call living 4 lives in one life. You know, relationships, illnesses, kids, no kids, yes, you know, whatever, on and on and on and on. Bam, all in one. And I'm on my 4th life here. I'm kidding.
I think you're a little bit more than four
Yeah.
lifetimes in.
Yeah, it's a long story.
But this is so great. Yeah, it's interesting what happens when we transition. Because of my education, I have learned that I'm not afraid.
Oh, no. And you want to look forward to it, but then you say, well, maybe that's not a good idea. You know, it's like,
I don't want to miss the good stuff here, but
yeah,
you know, when it's time, it's not going to be scary.
yes.
It's supposed to be a
It's not gonna
beautiful
be,
experience.
this is it. And I decided when I was a youngster, I am not going to die along. I'm going to go to bed one night and not wake up. This is exactly how I'm going to die.
That's what my dentist did. He was 84 years old. He went to work on a Thursday, went to bed Thursday night.
Perfect.
It was a perfect ending. And
Yeah.
I had been seeing him. I mean, I've known him since I was like 10 years old. So I knew him for quite
Yeah.
a long time. And
Plus, he's a good man.
he was a very good man. He was a very well in his heart, good man.
Yeah.
But so now reincarnation. You're here in this lifetime. You have these abilities. When you come back, whenever that might be, if you choose to
Mhm.
come back, do you bring these with you forward, or do you start without them?
Both. Okay. Past lives. I think that there is memories kept in cells, and the cells regenerate, and you have memories in your cells. So there are things that will happen to you. Some of this deja vu stuff, I think, is from, or when these people that have astonishing abilities that are, you know, a 6-year-old kid goes up to piano and starts playing the piano and stuff like that, or they're really, really bright, like the indigo kids. And so, yeah, you bring it, but you don't bring it all. So it's why they say, dude, yeah, there is some that you bring. And there's stuff that people can do that you can't figure out how they can do it. Well, it's from before. You know, they always say, well, that's Janis Joplin was reincarnated in her or something like that, or some famous, you know, healer or something. But yeah, it's a tough question. And from my perspective now, at my age, every morning is a reincarnation. You know, you're just starting over every morning. Let's do it. See what we got here.
It's
And
true.
so if you're looking to try to make up for it next time, no, live in the present. That's so much more important.
That is a great way to end the show. Live in the present. It's
Mhm.
wonderful. So everyone out there, if you want to find James Demos, jamesdemos.com, and that's JamesDemos.com. Reach out to James. He will give you an amazing session. And you'll be amazed by what'll shift in your life. It's powerful. And
Thank
just
you.
remember my favorite saying, your mind is like a parachute. It doesn't work unless it's open. Go to James with an open mind and you will not be disappointed.
Thank
So
you.
James, thank you. You have been such a pleasure. Not only did we talk about our neighborhood that I grew up in and you're living in now,
Yeah.
but there's so many synchronicities. And I'm so grateful that we had finally a chance to meet.
Yes. Me too.
No, you're a pleasure. And I want to say thank you to everyone at Voice America who helps produce this show, Teresa Scott Reed, my assistant. I want to thank you, the listener, for tuning in, taking time out of your day. I am hoping that some of the information that we shared today really will resonate with you and give you some new ideas or concepts. And I also want to wish you all great health. Please, please, please watch out for the seniors, see if they need anything, and be cognizant of how close you are to your neighbor. So, till the next show, I wish you love. I send you blessings and I send you gratitude. Till next week.
All right. Good show today. All clear.
Thank you.
Yep.